Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dhruv, and as you know, I'm on this mission to create my own YouTube channel, to do more content. In today's piece of content, I'm going to be answering several questions that people generally ask me. And over to the episode.
Do you think that advertising is a young person's game?
I think advertising in the way it conventionally is and the way it has always been is definitely not a young person's game. It's not a space that attracts great creative talent. It's not a space that young people are attracted to. And basically you go to advertising to kill your creativity. So I would recommend very seriously that if you're joining a conventional agency, advertising is definitely not the place that you want to be in. But what's happening with branded content is very exciting. Like, I think the entire definition of advertising in itself is changing. So as a creative person, if you have the impetus to want to create spectacular storytelling for brands, then there is enough and more potential for creative folks to want to be in that space. Because so many people are creating content for themselves, but don't essentially know how to actually make it a commercial viable thing for them in their career, in their life. So I think the best and the fastest way for a creative person who doesn't want to essentially come and do traditional advertising, but wants to create branded content and meaningful impact, that is definitely going to be the future. I think it's going to happen through OTT programming. It's going to happen through independent content or content studios or branded content studios that are actually creating the content that is meaningful to audiences. And that's where creative people can actually showcase their talent and also shine.
We all know that we are moving into a digital age, but why can't the traditional way also survive side by side the digital era?
For 1 second, admit the fact that traditional is always going to exist in some form or function. When the television came and disrupted the radio, it's not like people stopped radio programming, but radio advertising had to pivot and evolve and was supposed to get more creative and innovative in its programming and started having to start moving from talk shows to making music content which people want to actually listen to. And now radio's evolved to the podcast, which is now audio in long form, which is being brought back. I don't think traditional will die. I just think that traditional will be forced to evolve to understand that if it wants to survive, then it has to exist in a realm that it engages and influences people, as opposed to trying to sell people their product. Because let's face it, like, nobody likes sales agents, and the best way of selling somebody on something is not selling them on anything. But traditional as we know it, as the 30-second TVC, as the print campaign that, or the advertorial in between the editorial, that is bound to die. It has to die. It is a dinosaur.
Why do you think that branded content is the future?
I don't think branded content is the future. I think branded content is the present. I think that the smart brands already know it, and the people who haven't evolved want to do it but don't know how quite to do it. I want to stop calling it branded content. I think that it's content to begin with. The minute the word branded is prefixed to it, people start to hate it because they think that somebody's trying to sell me on something. It just means that brands need to start becoming publishers and media companies in their own right and start to publish content that people want to actually consume and watch, engaging, influencing, and educating people, because that's the only reason why they'll want to watch your content.
What motivated you to start Humour Me?
I am somebody who's been entrepreneurial my whole life. I actually did entrepreneurship because the things I wanted to do didn't exist in the world. I saw an opportunity and I saw nobody else wanting to do it. So I've always been a storyteller. I didn't see this exist. I loved wanting to always do my own thing. For me, I was doing entrepreneurship since the age of 4. There's a story, I wanted to start a puppies business, and I went and told my mom at the age of 4 that I want to start a puppies business. And I want to buy puppies for cheap and sell them for even cheaper, which was a very bad business model, as my mother told me that time. But even then, my mind was actually thinking about how do you sort of build businesses. I was the kind of guy who always was thinking about starting businesses and companies. So for me, Humour Me was just inevitable, and I'm just doing the things that I've always wanted to do. So I started this company when I was 23 and a half. And today I'm 31, so like 24 is when I registered the company. So it's just been years of experimentation, and then finally became a proper company, I think 4.5 years back. And that's when we started to really build an organization.
Which brand, according to you, have aced digital marketing and social media communications?
I think the tech companies are really part of culture. I think the Facebooks, the Googles of the world are actually getting culture. The Apple, Amazons, they're the people who actually are far ahead of direct-to-consumer product companies than anybody else. For us, the internet is Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Google. These are the sort of companies that they've highly over-indexed the entire internet, and the internet runs on the back of these companies. But having said that, I don't believe that direct-to-consumer brands haven't done that. I believe brands like Red Bull have done a tremendous job at doing that. I believe brands like there are startup companies that are doing it in an extraordinary way that are getting tremendous amounts of attention.
Then how does someone get a job in advertising?
Today, if you're a smart person with experience and you can actually produce real results, I think that's what agencies are really looking for. So if you have experience in actually getting attention, creating content, creating stories, if you bring a real point of a business or strategic sense of point of view to things, and you're an execution person first and you love to drive timelines, you have a place in advertising. If you have a point of view on culture and how brands should have a stake in culture, and you believe you have an original point of view that can move that brand's attention or that love, and you've always looked at consumer brands or looked at brands and how they interact with consumers, and that's been your passion, then you have a place in advertising.
What could be a new platform for the advertising industry which isn't just a waste of time and money?
I think that advertising kills platforms where people actually start to enjoy content and entertainment and engagement. I think the reason why Netflix has not become a place that people don't like anymore is the fact that they were very clear on their revenue model, and the fact that they never wanted advertising as a product to be able to drive the revenue of their vertical. So for instance, when you have the other OTT platforms or even platforms like Spotify, when they've come to India, so many people have turned around and told me, my God, I much rather pay for that additional subscription rather than listen to the intrusive advertising that comes through it, because that totally fundamentally kills the product experience for me. Advertisers, if they don't stop killing platforms, there will be other platforms that will emerge and people will go there. And when advertising comes there, like we killed mail. There was a time when people used to open their inbox and we used to look forward to an email from somebody. Today, like, does anybody open email marketing? Yet so many of you do this.
What are your company's goals for the coming years?
I don't have any coming years goals. I don't believe in making 5-year plans or 3-year plans or 2-year plans. I believe in a day-to-day execution plan, and I believe what I want to do in the next couple of days. I think that people who make 5-year plans are actually making 5-year guesses that they will never execute, and they're fundamentally not pragmatic in the way they put those numbers down. I have broad-term vision. I know where I want to be in a 20-year life cycle or 30-year life cycle, because I'm playing to things that are big legacy things.
What questions do you ask your clients to improve your advertising?
I don't ask my clients any questions. I bring a point of view to the table because I'm an active consumer of their brand before I actually want to work with them. And if I'm not an active consumer of the brand, then I'm interested to know what their product or service is. And if their product and service sucks, then I don't want to work with them. That's the truth, because I don't want to take a shitty product or shitty service and then trying to attention build for a shitty product or shitty service, because that's the fastest way for that person or that brand to actually fail. And you'll be surprised how many shitty products and services there are. Hi ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, so much love to you guys. I hope you enjoyed my answers, and I wish to give you tremendous value in terms of the answers I gave or the content I publish out there. And so subscribe, like the channel, share, comment, do whatever you want to do. But more than anything else, engage with me, reach out to me. I would love to speak to you. If you believe in the things I believe in, then I would love to speak to you and have a conversation, a chat, a virtual cup of coffee, however you please. Until then, have a great day.